Good evening, everyone. I'm Ed Gordon. She was a hip-hop prodigy at the age of 15, and by the time she was 18, her 2 CDs had sold over 4 million copies. Her cutting-edge style caught the eye of top designers like Calvin Klein, and she quickly became a regular in the pages of top fashion magazines. But as she reveals in her latest CD, Broken Silence, her life has also been dotted with low points as well. She's here to talk about all that. Foxy Brown joins us this evening. Foxy.
Hi, good evening.
Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Listen, we want to get into a number of things tonight, but let me ask you this before we get into some of the personal things and one of the things that you wanted to talk about.
Right.
When you look back on your life with the success, and you've been very candid, frankly, through your song in the latest CD of some of the troubles that you've had and some of your thoughts throughout, but do you look back and wonder, wow, look at all the success I've attained, though?
Definitely. I mean, that's a blessing. But again, by attaining success, I've gone through a lot of turmoil and a lot of devastation, a lot of problems, but it made me stronger.
Do you see that as growing pains of any young black woman in the United States, yet yours is just played out because of who you are? Or do you believe that some of it is just the industry and the fame that perhaps made it grow?
I think I had it harder than a lot of female rappers because I came in at such a young age of 15. Coming, you know, through the door with Jay-Z and Nas, who were the 2 top at that time, who still are. So it was hard to even get that kind of recognition as being, you know, that female on your own and powerful and whole, you know. There were times that I would be in a meeting and I couldn't even be heard. I would have to say like, hello. You know, I wanted to voice.
And that's true, quite frankly, in the rap industry as relates to women of any age.
Right, of any age. I think, I mean, actresses, models, rappers, singers, I mean, we all have that kind of struggle, but I don't know. I'm just happy to be able to do this again, to do it again, because I was at a point, at the lowest point, where I felt like I didn't want to do it again, because it started to become unhappy for me.
You hit a number of low points, as I said. We'll get into that, and some positives too. We don't want to dwell on that, because I know, and I appreciate that you called us and said that you wanted to talk about a number of personal things. But I also appreciate that you came here because I know you don't like to talk about personal things, and you don't necessarily like the media in general.
But it's not that I don't like the media,
well,
but I don't like that
let's
they
be honest, though. You don't like the fact that they focus on the negative.
Right. You would see Foxy Brown in headlines or making a front page news for something negative, but not that she was the first African-American female to grace, you know, the cover of Essence. I'm sorry, hip-hop artist to grace the cover of Essence and get Calvin Klein and bridge, you know, the gap between urban hip-hop and mainstream fashion. So, you know, media focuses on a lot of negative things, which I don't agree with.
I appreciate that you reached out to us, and we'll try to get it all out tonight. One of the things that we wanted to talk about, and I know it's difficult, so we won't dwell on it, but your uncle passed away on the American Airlines flight 587, the ill-fated flight that crashed off of New York City a couple of weeks ago, and obviously that must be very difficult for you.
This is like the most painful time for my family. Actually, he was 65. His name was Federico de la Ascension, and he, 65, just retired from Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. His co-workers got together at this retirement party and got him this wonderful trip to the Dominican Republic. So this fatal trip, and it was unbelievable. I had a show and I got the phone call. I had a show in Rhode Island and I just rushed home, and everybody has just been like, we're in shock. We're in shock. I mean, the way they're treating the victims of this crash is unbelievable. It's not acceptable for me, you know, and I'm kind of sitting back and seeing how my aunt and my mother are handling the situation, but I'm like, 260 people lost their lives, not to mention the 5 that lost their lives on ground. So, you know, I just hope that we get the same kind of assistance.
And I was going to say, in the sense that you're obviously comparing it to the devastation that we saw on September 11th and the victims and the police.
Because my thing is, it's not a comparing thing. I don't want anybody to get the wrong, you know. But it's still, because these people are not white-collar people, and it didn't affect America's monetary, you know, like it didn't touch that aspect of it or that area of it. I think that, you know, people are like, okay, it was a crash, and they grieved for that week, and that was it. You know, and I just hope we get the same kind of assistance from the relief organizations that they did. That's all.
Let me do this. Let me take a little break. Let you get a sip of water, and we'll come back with more with Foxy Brown right after this. Back in a moment.